Welcome to Keeping It Real with KC. I am your host, KC Phoenix, and again, it's the weekend. This is the second episode of the weekend. We're doing wacky news this weekend, like I promised. And if you are listening to this episode on my international podcast, I kind of like saying that because it's kind of cool that people in other countries listen to this show. So yeah, I just had to throw that out there. Don't forget the main podcasting platform, KIRWKC. If you're watching on YouTube or Daily Motion, don't forget to click the subscribe button followed by the notification bell on YouTube, Daily Motion subscribe button. Which, strange thing, not many people subscribe on Daily Motion. They just watch from time to time, if that. It's usually on YouTube, but it's more, people are more into the podcast, and I'm fine with that because that's where I put a lot of my energy into the podcast. KIRWKC, yeah, on all social media platforms, as you know. I'm loving this story. Now, I have to be honest. Between us, don't tell anybody, I think this was a setup. That's what I think. I think this was a setup. I think it was a marketing setup for the company. That's just, call me cynical or whatever, but I think this was a setup. For the chocolate snow, this happened in Switzerland. True story, not making this up. You can look it up. Okay. So, what had happened was the chocolate maker, and I'm trying to get their name right. It's Lint and Sprungli. I believe that's how you pronounce that second one. Lint and Sprungli. It's Spruengli. Lint and Sprungli. At their chocolate factory, they were making chocolates, doing their thing. Okay. Well, on their line for their roasted cocoa nibs, N-I-B-S, nibs, cocoa nibs, on that line, the cooling ventilation malfunctioned. Wink, wink. The cooling ventilation for that line of cocoa nibs malfunctioned. Because it malfunctioned, it sprayed powder into the air. And the wind, of course, carried it. In Switzerland, which anybody who knows anything about chocolate, Swiss chocolate. This, you can't make this stuff up. So, in the town of Olten, which is located between Zurich and Basel, is where Olten's at. Olten, Switzerland. Switzerland is located between Zurich and Basel. All right. When this malfunction, wink, wink, happened and the powder was sprayed and carried by the wind, people in the town of Olten, Switzerland, had chocolate powder all over their stuff. A car was covered in chocolate powder. And pretty much they had chocolate snow, is what was going on. This was on Twitter. One person wrote, 2020 is turning around, which, yeah, if it's chocolate snow, definitely turning around. Another person wrote, chocolate snow, surely only in the next life. Another person wrote on Twitter, my dream come true. So, and then the chocolate company that had the ventilation malfunction, wink, wink, said for the car that was lightly coated with the chocolate powder that was carried by the wind, creating the chocolate snow in the Swiss town of Olten, Lit in Sprungli offered to pay for the cleaning of the car that was covered in chocolate snow. Or actually, they offered to pay for the cleaning period. But no one has taken the company up on their offer. Meanwhile, it says the ventilation problem, wink, wink, was repaired and factory production was able to continue as normal, the company said. You have to love stories like this. It's chocolate snow in Switzerland. Swiss chocolate snow. Ventilation issue. So yeah, that's cute. So that's the wacky news on this one. That is the wacky news. So yeah, if you want to find the article, you can find it. Chocolate snow dusts Swiss town after factory malfunction. Wink, wink. I added the wink, wink. Obviously. So yeah, so it's just, if it would have happened anywhere else, but no, I take that back. If it would have happened in Brazil, it would have been a wink, wink too, because Brazil is known for their cocoa as well. So yeah, but Switzerland and Brazil, those two, if anything weird related to chocolate, cocoa, or anything like that happens, I'm giving it the side eye. That's just me personally. Outside of those two countries, yeah, something weird just happened. But this was very interesting, and I thought it would be cute to cover the story. And just maybe, if you wish hard enough on a star, you will have chocolate snow in your area. And that's all I have for this episode, which was really, really short. And that's a good thing. All right. So now, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. Don't forget, there is a third episode coming. This third episode is about a shoe thief. So, if you want to find out about the shoe thief, be sure to listen or watch the third episode that I plan to record. Again, thank you to those who have been watching and listening and liking and subscribing and sharing and following on Facebook. I think on Facebook we're at almost 500 followers now, give or take, close to it. It's 400. It's the high 400 or something. And I appreciate those people taking the time to follow on the Facebook page. So yeah, it really means a lot. It's awesome. But I'm very happy that I'm able to do this show and entertain people and take people's minds off of 2020. And if chocolate snow doesn't take your mind off 2020, I don't know what will. And if a shoe thief, when you find out what happened behind that whole story in my next episode, if the shoe thief episode doesn't take your mind off of 2020, I don't know what will. Anyway, thank you. I appreciate you. Be blessed.